Alrighty, it is time for some Guild Boss Kelak. First we will be going over the team for normal. We can now use possibly the most best team for this Guild Boss with Green Halloween Gotha, Blue Eastin, Elate and Derieri of course. If you don't have green Gotha, you can use red Gotha. However, the strat will be a lot more tedious because on normal and hard you have to give Gotha the 3 times defense set and a lot of resistance rolls, so he can patience normal and hard. But we have also Elate now. Everyone got 1 free Elate. That is enough for now, and her her ultimate is very useful in 2 things. First of all, it removes debuffs. It grants debuff immunity and increases defense-related stats. Those are 2 buffs you want on Derieri for more damage with her ulti. But also the 100% more. The 100% buff on defense-related stats, if you have to use red Gotha, is really helpful to patience a lot. You will see it later in the normal run after I pulled my defense, after I pulled my Elate ulti, my whole team patience everything, and none of them is built out for resisting or defense. And if you pulled on her banner and got her ulti even more up, that buff increases. So really helpful if you have to use red Gotha. Other than that, the 2 buffs for Derieri ulti also really nice. Easton, if you don't have Easton, you can use the green Hellbram. The reason why everyone uses Easton is because she's blue and Hellbram is green, and therefore Hellbram dies a lot, because Kelak is red. So yeah, Easton for more survivability. Other than that, the two are same. You both need them only for their attack-related increase of stats, which also means 30% more crit chance for Derieri. Like I said, everyone got an Elate in the past weeks, 1 for free in the mail. If for some weird reason you don't want to use Elate or whatever, you also could use Marmos. That's what we did in the past when last time we had this guild boss. The difference is, if you look at it, Marmos ultimate, decreases defense-related stats by 60%. That's basically what we need. Elate has this with 50% as a regular attack, or debuff, better said. If we just look shortly into her, nope. That one, as you can see here, decreases crit resistance and crit defense by 50%. That's all we need to make it more easier, to make it able to crit the boss. The defense decrease for Marmos is not that important. Also, Elate has this passive that every time when she uses a skill, everyone in your team gets plus 5% crit chance. That is limited by 10 times, so if you stack her max out, it's additional 50% crit damage for Derieri, or better, your whole team. And those 2 things and the 2 buffs from her ultimate make her better than Marmos. Even though the Marmos debuff from his ultimate would be 60%, she only has 50%. But the 2 extra debuffs from her ulti and her passive makes her the stronger unit. And lastly, of course, Derieri. If you still don't have any Derieri, you can use Jericho. Just be advised that a 1-6 Derieri is better than a 6-6 Jericho. So even if your Derieri is only 1-6, you can still use her. Minus 6-6 already. And equipment wise, there are two options. Either you go with a crit damage and attack set like I have, or you go with a triple crit damage set. The only difference really is in the rolls. If you use the attack crit damage set like I have, you want to make sure to have more crit damage rolls than attack rolls. And if you have the triple crit damage set, you want more attack rolls than crit damage rolls. There is a lot of speculation, or rather calculation, speculation, something in between those, what the best rolls are. However, those suggestions only come from that one damage formula we have from Netmarble, where even Netmarble says that formula is the only thing we give to you guys, but be aware it's not 100% correct. So there seems to be some mechanics in the background they don't want us to know. So the damage formula we have is like 90% correct, and we don't know any of the defense and resistance value of the boss. So in the past, people said that for a crit damage and attack set, you want to have 2 attack rolls and 8 crit damage rolls. Other people say, yeah, 4 attack rolls and 6 crit damage rolls is the better choice. But if you look at those spreadsheets, this is whining on a higher level. The difference between 2 8 rolls or 4 6 rolls is like, well, this Derieri could theoretically deal 14.8 million damage, and with the other rolls she could deal 14.2 million damage. If you breach 14 million at all, you're fine. I can't breach 14 million. Or at least I haven't tried it yet. So yeah, the last suggestion I heard about the rolls for Derieri gear was whatever you get, either is it attack or crit damage, and it's a high roll, just keep it for now. I think that's one of the better suggestions. So when you make gear for Derieri, I simply advise you, if you make an attack roll higher than 2.5%, keep it. If you have a crit damage roll higher than 5%, keep it. And then just look what you have in the end. Just make sure that it's not only one of the rolls. So make sure that it's mixed. And I think that's for... Oh no. For normal and hard, I removed all the attack gear on the other units. So on Elate and on Easton, I made it so that they can keep their AP set, because I have the def gear in the top row for those 2 units. So they still got the extra HP. It is not that important, the remaining HP for that boss. It's a little boost, but you can neglect it. Because as you will see for my Gotha, I had to split. I had HP set in the top row, so his HP set is now fucked up. That's why he has the least amount of HP out of everyone. I removed it for normal and for hard. In the next video we'll see that as well. Just because on normal the boss will die so easily, and her debuff skill deals damage, and if her debuff skills crits, it also can deal a lot of damage, because you have the Gotha ability, which stacks up 5 times, and every time you get a 7% attack buff. Wait, is it 7%? I think it's 7. Don't let me lie. Yeah, 7%. And so even without their attack gear on normal, you need to be aware that these 3 can still kill the boss. Association wise, I have King here for the ultimate altar. That's mainly for hard or mainly for extreme later on, so I can roll back the enemy better. Other than that, I just picked units with high stats. Okay, Merlin is not the highest stats, but she has UR gear. And then of course my BDM for Derieri for the highest attack boost. So he has the full LV attack roll, 15% attack set, to boost her attack up even more. And lastly but not least, I use crit damage food for normal and as for hard later as well. So yeah, that's basically the team. And now let's just jump into the fight. On normal, your biggest threat on normal is that the boss will die too early. If you want a really good run, you aim for 5 Derieri stacks, and if you're lucky, maybe even 6. But be aware, it will be hard. You can only use the Derieri attack 1 time. That's just right from the start. So for the first turn, I discard every attack card I have. I use the Gotha attack, Eastern attack, the Alata, and as well as Derieri. And this will be the only time you can use the Derieri attack card. If you use it for a second time, you will deal so much damage that the Alata debuff later on will kill the boss, because you have to play cards. So what you want is, like in this case, you want as much Derieri buffs as possible. And those are the cards to stack up Derieri, because the attack card is too strong. So what I'm using here is, I only will use 1 Derieri buff here, and then move a second card from Alata, because from now on I have nice buff cards. Maybe I can even get more, but I want now the Alata ultimate. That's a really, really good hand. Like I said, that Derieri attack card is an absolutely no-go. You can see the boss is already as half HP. So what we're gonna do is, we use 1 Derieri buff, we rush the ultimate for Alata, and then we just merge the Gotha, so we can get a second card next to the ultimate next turn. We're at 3 stacks now on Derieri. I have 2 buff cards still on my hand, so I have possible a 5 stack run here at my hand, which would be really, really good. Next on, we use the rank up, we use the Alata ultimate, use 1 buff card to keep it, and then rush the Derieri world, because you want to finish possibly next turn. Maybe you're lucky and get another Derieri buff card. But we get another attack card. This is, by the way, what I said earlier. I used the Alata ultimate and now Aaron patience, and nobody was built out of patience. So this is our finished turn. Make sure to use the Alata debuff before the Eastern buff, because Alata crits very often when she shouldn't. But in this case, everything is fine. We get our 5th Derieri stack with this buff, and boom, she crits 6.3 million. That is a really, really good run. I'm more than happy with it. As you see, a 3.1k run, lots of power, 308 points for remaining HP, so it's not as big as it was before, but it's still very, very nice, and that's basically normal. It's a mix between Rush Elate ulti, Rush Derieri ulti, and pray for a lot of Derieri buff cards. Yeah, for decent score, everything above 3k is really, really good. It's possible to deal even more than that though, so like I said, I was now lucky with the 5 stacks. If you're really, really, really lucky, I saw people getting 7 stacks because they just got so much Derieri buff cards. I don't know if you want to play that long. I'm happy with those 3.1k, that's the rule. So yeah, that's normal for me, and we can move on to the hard difficulty.